So we've been working on the floors, as you might know, making some pretty good progress in that direction. We got a little sidetracked, but we're kind of going back towards the floor. However, part of the get, mow, and go, of course, is to do things in priority or in order. You know, one thing has to happen before you do another thing, and then it leads to this is the other thing, and so on down the line. Today, I'm going to be installing a diesel heater. Now, I installed, kind of installed a 2 kilowatt diesel heater in the back. That's basically for the bedroom, but I didn't do it really well. I really don't know what I'm doing, and it's all a big learning curve. You probably understand if you're watching this to try and figure out your own school bus or bus conversion project. Not knowing what I'm doing doesn't necessarily mean I'm not going to do it. And I'm going to try to do it the right way this time. I'm going to have to revisit that one in the back and redo that one. But for now, this is what I want to do. Let me show you. We have these compartments here that are really nice. This is where the old heater block used to be. We cut this out so we could get that out. Our original plan was supposed to install the diesel heaters in here. But however, that presented a problem coming down here where the exhaust pipe would come down and out the floor and presented potential safety issues with the exhaust perhaps re-entering the cabin or coming into the cabin. Even though the muffler was going to be outside, the flange where it attached to the diesel heater was still inside the bus, and I kind of realized I didn't like that. It also presented a problem with heat proofing this. So I've got a couple of turret mounts. I'm going to test those out, see if they fit. So follow along and let's see how it works out. Get my head straight. This is it. Yeah. I've been told that the little green hose is no good. I don't have anything else right now, so we're going to have to use it and maybe replace it later. There's a mounting plate that comes with it. I'm going to see how it fits. That lines up pretty good. It's just missing this little slot here where the fuel line is supposed to go, but that's not going to be a big deal. I was more worried about the mounting holes and everything else lining up, and that works perfectly, so we're all good there. Comes with this diesel tank. A lot of people doing bus conversions, Skoolies and so forth, don't use this because they tap right into the bus's diesel tank, which is great. That scares me. I watched videos, people do this, and they put the fear of the Skoolie gods into you. Be sure when you tap and drill and you don't get any slivers of metal down into your tank, because that could get into and screw up your... I have visions of driving down some really tight winding mountain road where there's no shoulder when all of a sudden my bus dies because there's metal in my fuel filter or goes into the engine. And also there's fuel pump at the tank that I worry about messing with. It also it pressurizes the fuel lines. So I'm just not going to mess with that. This tank, however, is a little bit small. So... we got this. I saw a YouTube video where somebody was installing a diesel heater and they used a marine gasoline tank, which I thought was, what a great idea. Because it's bigger. You don't have to, screw it into the wall and then try to find a way to fill it from outside. You can just pull this right out, take it to the petrol station and fill it up with diesel. I just got to write on it diesel so everybody knows because it's red, not yellow. It simply goes into the compartment right next to the heater. You can disconnect the fuel line from here and yeah, I will be adapting this fuel line that it comes with to suit my purposes. So, let me show you where I want to put the stuff. I want to put it down through here, which means the exhaust pipe, the muffler, and the air intake for the combustion chamber will be coming out into the wheel well. It's going to be a little bit tight in there. I don't know if you can see it. Get in behind. We're going to try and put it in there. I'm going to run the exhaust so it'll come out here and just sort of sit there. The air intake probably on the other side over here. So I'm worried about the exhaust pipe and the air intake coming out and possibly being interfered with by the tire as we're rolling along. Now, having said that, rolling along, we're going to be a lot higher. The tire is going to be a lot further away from it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lift the bus up. No, not with my bare hands. I did eat my spinach last night, but no, I'm going to air it up. I already knew that tow trucks, if you have to tow a bus like this, you have to air the bus up in order to release the parking brake. I discovered that if I plug my little compressor into the bus, I can air it up. Let's go do that. There she is. This is the engine bay. Right here is an air intake. So if I plug hose in there, it will actually air it up. So let's do that. You put it up to about 100. That should be. We'll try it like that. Ooh, it's going down pretty quick. All right. Well, that does that. I'm going to do a little experiment. Luckily, it's pretty square on this angle. So if I put this over here, when I overthink things, I also tend to make things bigger in my head, and I mean physically bigger. So much more space here than I thought. Look at all this space. I'm going to put this right here. This will go right here. I think that'll work. That looks like it's a pretty good spot right there. Oh, I hope this works. Well, I'm a bit annoyed. 125 millimeter hole saw. It's too small. It is exactly the size of the duct in the turret mount. There's no way I could fit that turret mount into that hole that I drilled, and I'll show you that right now. It's a nice hole. You can see it there. It's in a perfect spot, I think, but it's too small. I've ordered another hole saw from Amazon that's, this is going to be tricky, 130 millimeters. So 5 millimeters bigger, half a centimeter. That should do it. That's annoying. That is really annoying. All right, come back tomorrow with the hole saw and start fresh. 2 of the 5 kilowatt heater install, and I'm going to do it today. I promise. Here's a little trick when you're drilling a hole with a hole saw for something like this. Don't get a hole saw that is pretty much exactly the same diameter. It doesn't work. Luckily, Amazon can deliver things overnight. So 5:30 in the morning, this was delivered. And this is slightly larger. I don't know if it's going to work. I got to measure it. That hole saw was 125 millimeters. This one is supposed to be 130, which is like 5 1/8, which is exactly what it is. Now let's measure across here. This is like 4 15/16. That should work. It should work. It's going to work. Let's get ourselves sorted out here. There we go. Put you here. Hardware, wiring harness, muffler. I bought this separately. This is a galvanized hanger strap. One of these. I figured it might come in handy. I don't trust this little thing. Like, it's supposed to attach to here, and I'm not entirely sure it'll do the job in every circumstance. It's always good to have options. Well, I guess the first step is to drill a hole. Let's do that. Yay! That was easier than I thought. Cool. I would like a little box or something that I could throw these screws into. I got one of these, which is just got a couple of things in it, but it also has none of these I could borrow. So thank you, Harbor Freight. You know what I should do? Get my glasses and read the instructions. I know the instructions on most diesel heaters are not the best, but I got to admit, this brand, Vevor, can you see that? I've used a few of their tools before, and they're actually pretty good. So let's look at that. Safety instructions: do not use cigarette lighter for startup. Good idea. Placement: we've already got that sorted out. We have packing list. That's important. Here's what I want: double head screw nut. I don't know what a double head screw nut is. Let's look at the packing list. Screw for lock catch. Okay. You know what? Let's just wing it.
2,000 years later.
Alright, now we've got to get the fuel line sorted out and the wiring. I am going to have to drill a hole for the fuel line, but let's figure out where that's going to go. I've got this that's going to go in here. Got this goes on here. What I want to do is have a block of some sort here that I can attach this to, and then have it also do double duty. It'll hold this in place, attach the fuel filter to it, and this to that, and then the fuel filter can sit right here, go down through here, and connect to the pump. I think the pump should be in the back here, maybe right here. Yeah, and then it can just sort of, you know what I should have done before I did all this? I'm new at this. This is brand new to me. So I should have attached the fuel line to the heater before I put it through the hole. Now we've got to struggle to try and get it attached while it's in there, barely being able to see. So let's just do that and get that over with. I don't think there's enough room in there for the two of us. So I'll show you this when I'm done. I've got everything pretty much attached. There's the fuel pump. This is the fuel line that comes in from the compartment. That's what I've got. Underneath, it's done. But here's what I got here. The fuel filter. This is actually through the floor. It's attached. The idea being that the fuel line will come out of here, do a bit of a loop here, and then right down into there. This way, I can see the fuel filter, and I'll have something here it's attached to, or the line will be attached to. Yeah, okay, you're looking at me that way. So if I do this, or if I do that, I'm going to put a card up here which will link to the video where I saw this idea, and it was brilliant. Tell them Jamie and Patrick sent you. All right, let's get to the wiring. Oh boy, I should have done this beforehand, because I can't just drill a hole that'll fit this. I've got to drill a hole that'll fit this. I'm gonna figure this out. So I do not want to drill another big hole in there. Well, I came up with a solution. Rather than drill a hole big enough for the fitting to go through, I just cut the wires and I'm going to crimp on some little tiny connectors and just connect them up here. So it's already through the floor, as you can see. Here's the connector for the fuel pump, and right up there is where it goes through. It's not an ideal solution, although I would have had to drill the hole anyway. Yeah, actually, I'm not entirely convinced there was another solution. Well, I got pretty far. I got everything wired up, I'm pretty sure successfully. I was just in the process of running the fuel line from the tank into the fuel filter, and I just cut this off, but I don't have a hose clamp small enough. The ones that came with the fuel line clamps don't fit over this line. It's too big. And this is a little bit too loose. Gotta get another hose clamp. Other than that, everything looks pretty good. I can't do anything else today. It's getting a little late in the day for me. I'm tired. I think it's time to go home. But I'm very pleased with what I did today. I am. I'll continue this tomorrow, and I'll see you then. I finally decided I was going to connect it to this line, which comes from the utility bay. The only thing it powers right now is the door locks, and it's a 12 gauge cable, so I thought, it'll handle it. So far, so good. All right, the pump is running. There's noises happening. I've got full tank of diesel right here. Everything is connected there. Fan is coming on. Sorry, I didn't record everything I did this morning because I just wanted to get to it. But ask her, I was cheering.
Yeah, very exciting moment.
This remote control is a little bit dark. I might have to figure that out. So I filled this up today. I got this, this was the part I was missing. I got that, went to Lowe's, picked that up, worked like a charm. Okay, now what's going on? No error code so far. The instructions are a little bit difficult to understand. I wasn't hearing the pump running, and I couldn't get the priming system to work based on what I found in the instructions. So thank goodness for Reddit. I found a thread that was specifically about this type of heater, this specific model, and they gave me detailed instructions there, and it worked like a charm. Still waiting for ignition.
Day 4.
So I'm trying to troubleshoot this not working. I kept getting an E10 error. I looked up the diesel heater error codes on YouTube and I found a really good explanatory video. And specifically the E10 error, it's sort of a catch-all. One of the things it means is that it has tried to start a number of times and failed. E8 is the error, I believe, for no fuel. I say that because I didn't get an E8 error. What happened is I was trying to prime it and the instructions are not particularly clear on that. And I turned it on and it would start going through its startup cycle. Well, I tried to press the button I was supposed to press to prime and it wouldn't prime. And then I would turn it off and try again. And I did this a number of times, and that constitutes those times it tried to start but didn't, hence the E10 error. So I'm trying to troubleshoot that, and I just don't think it was getting any fuel, and I don't think it's flooded because there would be, from what I understand, fuel coming out of the exhaust, or at least the smell of it. And there was none of that. Now, I've also watched a number of videos on installing these diesel heaters, dozens of them. They're all over the place, including the one you're watching right now. And almost all of them say if your diesel heater comes with this is the green line, which is, I believe it's silicone, it's very flexible, it's squeezable, don't use it. But it came with it. It's got to work if it came with it, right? I want to give it a shot. They always say replace it with one of these. This is a hard nylon tube. It doesn't kink. It doesn't expand and contract when the pump does. The silicone tube expands and contracts when the pump is moved. It's subtle. You can't even see it, but it's enough to cause some problems, I believe. At any rate, I'm going to start trying to troubleshoot this problem by replacing the fuel line with the one that is always suggested in every single video I've ever watched. That's this one. So that's what I'm going to do first. Then I'm going to try to prime it again and get it started, and we'll see how that works. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is say hi to my beautiful wife. Hi.
Hi, honey.
Give me a kiss. I love you.
I love you.
First thing I'm going to do is dismantle the existing fuel system. We'll start at the top and we'll work our way down. That's completely dry. All right, well, that's interesting. There doesn't seem to be any fuel in there at all. Nope, doesn't even smell like fuel. So the bubbles I saw are probably just, I don't know, from condensation, perhaps?
I didn't smell any fuel.
No, there's no fuel in that line at all. Hang on. We've got that done. I'm trying to attach the other end of this one to the nipple on the diesel heater, and it's because I can't take the diesel heater out, I'm having to feel my way. Just tiny little thing. We're just going to try that where it is and see if I can get it to work. So I think the only weak spot is where the This little hose is attached to the nipple in the heater, because it's really hard to get up there and tighten that up. Now it's worth a shot. Let's try firing it up, see what happens. Priming. Now let's see if any fuel's coming out here. I mean, it's hard to tell. I don't see anything coming through the filter, but that... Oh, my mistake. I do.
Oh, you do?
I just saw something in there. That looked liquidy. Oh, yeah, there's definitely fuel coming through.
Oh, baby, that's so good.
There's fuel. Let's see what's happening down here. Oh, yeah. Oh, and I can smell it.
I can smell it.
I saw fuel being pumped up in here, which is just before the nipple on the heater. Oh, baby.
What? Oh, exhaust.
We got there was some white smoke coming out of the exhaust, which means the fuel was burning. Usually that means there's extra fuel in the combustion chamber. I think it ignited. I might have flooded it, so there's probably a little bit of extra fuel in the combustion chamber, and that's what we're smelling. From everything I've heard, it smells a little bit when it first starts, and that goes away after a while, hopefully. Oh yeah, there is definitely heat coming out of there now. There's definitely heat coming out of there now.
Oh my God. That's a lot. That's like really gonna heat this place up.
Yeah.
Wow, babe. That is so cool. We got heat.
We got heat.
Oh, I'm
works.
so excited.
All right, so.
You did it.
I did
You
it.
did it.
I did it.
Good job.
I did it.
Ooh, I know you were worried, but you did it, honey.
It works. We have heat. Everybody was right. That green fuel line, if you buy a diesel heater and it has that, spend an extra $20 on Amazon, get the hard white nylon fuel line with the rubber connectors and the proper hose clamp clip, because those are great, and put it on before you install the actual heater, so you don't have to reach underneath and try to tighten that thing up through a turret mount in your wheel well, like I did. And it's still not exactly tight. The heat was coming out. It was running perfectly. It burned off a little excess fuel at first, but then it was nice and clean. I'm very excited. What do you think, baby?
Can't believe we have heat. That's so cool.
I love you.
I love you.
Mwah.